Okay, this is part 2 of your how-to video. From the last time, this was our vertex. It was the coordinates 2, 0, and we're changing our graph to a quadratic equation. Just to review, our graph looks like this. So they've given us our graph, and we want to come up with a quadratic equation that represents this graph. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your vertex coordinates, and you're going to need a point somewhere on this graph, okay? The easiest point to see is this one right here, 4, 0. Excuse me, 0, 4 would be the coordinates for that point right there. So we have our vertex, which is 2, 0, and we have this point where it touches the y-axis, 0, 4. So we're going to use that information to come up with our equation. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to, besides my vertex, I'm going to say the y-intercept. So I can keep that in front of you, that these are 2 pieces of information that we need. And we are going to fill that information into our formula. Okay. All right, so the step 1 is fill in your coordinates of your vertex. And so I'm going to do that. And instead of using f of x, guys, I'm going to use y. So I'm going to say y equals. And I don't know what a is, so I'm going to keep a down there. And then I'm going to put in the parts that I know about my problem here. Now the h, like it says, the h is the opposite sign of the x coordinate in your vertex. So the x coordinate in my vertex is 2, and that's a positive 2. So inside my formula, I need a negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to put minus 2. And then I'm going to square that. So if you wanted to square something and you want to show that in your formula or whatever, there's a square button or any exponent that you want from here. You just click on home, then you click this button, and then the number 2. And that gives me the square, okay? Now, in order for me to get back to typing something else, I need this not to be highlighted. So I need to take that off, and then I'm able to put a space and then a plus sign, okay? For the rest of my, wait a minute, it didn't go. So I need to take that off. Very good. And then I'm back down here, and I want to put a plus sign. And now I want my k coordinate. That is my y value. It says k is the y coordinate of the vertex. The y coordinate of my vertex is 0. Okay, so I'm going to put plus 0. All right, so I filled in step 1, which was to fill in the coordinates for my vertex. All right, then the next thing is step 2. In step 2, I'm going to fill in the ordered pair that I know from some ordered pair on the graph. So fill in the ordered pair from your graph. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fill that in. And so I know a y coordinate. The y coordinate is 4. So I put in the 4, and I'm going to put equals. And then I still don't know what a is, so I'm going to put that there. And then I do know what an x is. When y is 4, x is 0. So I can put a 0 here. Minus 2. And I want to square that. So I want to square that. And then I want to take that off. Take that off. And then I want to put plus 0. Plus 0. Oops, wrong place. Plus 0. All right, so let's look at the math on this. So far we have negative 2 squared we don't have to worry about the zeros because that's still going to be -2. So I'm going to work this, and I'm going to go to 4 is equal to a times 4. And you know that a times 4, the -2 squared, I'm just going to show you that so that you can actually see it. And we can focus on what happens here when I've simplified it. Excuse me. So -2 squared and I'm not going to worry about the +0. Okay. All right. So then that leaves me with the next step. That leaves me with 4. Well, don't not need to take it off. Forgot that step. Take that off. Okay. So that leaves me with the 4 is equal to, and rather than writing it a times 4, because -2 squared is +4, I'm going to write it the other way. I'm going to write 4a. Okay. All right. Now we know to simplify for our variable a, then what we do is we type in a. Let's do it where we don't have to have it equal anything. We have to divide both sides by 4, right? And let's, before we do this, let's say that the step 3 is to solve. We're going to solve for a. All right. And so that's what we're doing at this stage, is we're solving, simplifying and solving for a. And doing inverse operand. All right, so that's what we've done here. And we end up finding out, if we divide both sides by 4, we end up knowing that a is equal to 1. It wants to capitalize, and I'm not going to stop it. So we found out that a is equal to 1. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to plug this back into our equation. Now remember, our original equation had a, and it had x minus 2 quantity squared plus 0, blah, blah, blah. But we need a quadratic equation from that, right? And remember, quadratic equations look like this. This is a quadratic equation. In standard form, it looks like this. It says y, or f of x, is equal to some number. We're going to say a x squared plus bx plus c. Now that's our norm. No, we don't want equals. We want plus c. Okay, so that's our normal standard form for a quadratic equation. Okay, so let's get this part, and then we'll put our a in front of there, because that's our a that goes right there. Okay, so what you've got is you've got y equals, and I'll keep that there. At the top right here, you have x minus 2 squared. All right, so we're going to put a 1, because we just found out a was 1. And then we're going to put times x minus 2 squared. And x minus 2 squared, get rid of that on that. Get off of my screen, okay? X minus 2 squared is the same as x minus 2 times x minus 2. And that equals x squared it off plus, is it going to be plus or is it going to be minus? I think it's going to be minus 4x plus 4. And the reason it's equal to that, guys, I think y'all remember how to multiply these things, so we won't belabor that a lot, but you know that it's the full method, x times x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x. Add those two to get your middle term, minus 4x. And then the last terms, minus 2 times minus 2, gives you plus 4. So in other words, my equation in standard form, guys, is y equals x squared plus, or excuse me, plus minus 4x plus 4. And that is my answer. This right here, this part right here, is the answer to my problem. That is my quadratic equation in standard form. That's what they wanted me to do. Okay? All right, I'm going to spread it out so you can actually see it a little bit better. All right, so this was my answer. Let me highlight it. That was my answer to that original question, going through these steps right here to try to fill in the vertex form based on the coordinates, and then solving for A, and then coming up with my quadratic equation by actually doing this part. After I find out what A is, I just plug it in and then do the math. Okay? All right, now let's talk about uploading this file. So I want to upload this file. I'm going to do File, Save As, and let's do it in my distance learning folder. And I'm going to call it PA example, part 1, or part 2, sorry about that. Okay, so that's going to be in my folder like that. And then we're going to go to our actual test that we were working on, and we are going to upload a file. So let's do that. This is the actual test itself. So what you need to do is have an example of the test that looks like yours. Right. So this is an example of what you would be looking at. And let's say I've done all that in one file, and all I want to do is answer the whole entire thing into this one place. Okay? So you click on Add File. You select the file, you look for it on your drive. I know where I put mine. Let's see, mine's is in distance learning. And let's see, where did I put it up? PA example part 2. And then when it shows up here, all you have to do is click on upload. And there you go. So you've answered all of your questions in that one file, and then you've attached it to the very first part of your performance assessment, and you are finished. Good job. All right, I hope that helped. If not, your teachers have live help sessions. Mine's are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'll be glad to help you. And like you know this anyway, I'm always available. Email, text me, phone me if you have any trouble. Just know that this performance assessment is very important and you must pass it. So let's do a good job. Hopefully you don't have questions and this will be easy for you.